Innate Academy is always here to support you.
The sky with a whisper loud. A brushstroke cuts through every cloud. My thoughts run.
What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? We have been waiting on this one for quite some time, and I am truly honored to work on this project with you for the next few weeks now. Now, this is our AI Create-A-Thon, so please be expecting every day this week from Monday to Thursday for us to get into some real AI in action. And then, of course, we will follow through and go more in depth as the next few weeks go by, because I want us to get excited about the project, but I also want us to have some hands-on and make sure that we're doing a real live project if you have one to do. Now, if you don't have a particular project to do, then of course you can use any of the prompts that I give you, any of the images that I give you, any of the resources, templates, etc., to gain those clients and gain those projects, because you will have high level premium designs that will attract your potential clients. Now, this week is not just about creating pretty designs. This week is also about us being able to understand how to use AI to help us develop ideas, help us even create and break down those ideas into elements that we can use, into emails that we can write, into marketing proposals and materials that we can develop as well. So keep in mind, when I say AI in action, I'm not just talking about making pretty artwork, although we will absolutely do that. I want to make sure that you understand that we're going to be using AI in several different aspects as we go along through this journey, through our Memorial Premium Design journey, okay? Now, I want to go ahead and ask some questions before we get going, because today we're going to do a little light Photoshop work. And when I say light Photoshop work, I kind of want you all to see the power of what can be done, but we're going to be using our AI designs as inspiration. One of the major problems that I've been seeing with AI design is that printers and folks that are producing the artwork actually on the physical printing scale are having trouble getting nice quality designs. So one of my goals throughout this process is to help you understand what designs are going to print decent with the inherent AI, and then what things you're going to have to learn how to recreate and redevelop and upscale and rebuild those graphics. And we're going to do it in Photoshop. Okay, now you would be able to do some similar things in Canva, but Photoshop just has a lot more design control. And for me, this is where I like to create my templates, because I can auto design in those templates with smart objects. And we'll go over a little bit of that today as well. But I just want to see from those who are in our live Zoom room right now, how many of you all have, how about this? If you have ever done a memorial project, whether it be like commemorative, like after the effect, or whether it was actively for a funeral, go ahead and give me a 1 in the chat. If you've never done it before, give me a 2. I just want to see where we are tonight. Oh, wow. Okay. Most of you have already done these types of projects. And just a couple have not. Well, I'll tell you what, the ones that haven't, you're in for a treat too, because these are some of the most touching projects you can work on. And this is a great way for you to, especially, we're going to talk about this in terms of marketing as well and developing those professional relationships, but getting in touch with your local funeral homes because they pay a lot to have printed products and the same products that you all produce at home. They have them shipped from halfway across the United States and pay express shipping for these things. And they do it regularly because there's never any shortage. In fact, it is pretty much an increase every year of individuals who will need your services because memorial services and funerals will never, ever be obsolete. Ever, ever. Okay, so I think this is a great place for us to work on what we do that we love and also providing stable income so that you can go ahead and start contracting these funeral homes in order to do projects for them. Okay. All right. So we'll go through that a little bit more as we go through our avatars. Well, I realized since today is our Photoshop day, what I wanted to show you and what you all said that you were interested in is learning how to build from scratch. And hold on, just a moment. Let me get this Zoom thing out of my way so I can see. Log into the right account. There we go. All right. So I'm taking some notes right now from you all. And the reason why I say that is because if you're in the Zoom room, you're a craft quick crew, I really care about what you know how to do and what you want to learn how to do. So I have a list of a few things that you all said that you wanted to learn for this upcoming project. And I'm really, I'm getting excited about it because I feel like this is going to be a great application. But you all wanted to build from scratch, learn about building with the layer mask and the grunge effects and that sort of thing. If that's something that you want to do, go ahead and put a 100 in the chat for me. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So tonight, what I would like to show you is the design on my screen is an AI design, and it's beautiful, right? It did an excellent job of creating an image. However, we have to use our design mind to recreate the image if we want to be able to use it for certain projects. And I'm going to go ahead and, kind of give you some insight on what is good for, what is not so great for, and what it is terrible for, because I want to prepare you for that sort of thing. If you're going to go out there as this supreme graphic designer, I want you to also understand how your designs translate into print. Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Now, I also heard you all when you said you wanted to learn about, and this was our last session, CMYK versus RGB, and when you're designing, when it's important. If that's something you'd like to do for this segment, and we're talking about for the next few weeks, because we're going to lock in on Memorial and do it for the next few weeks, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat if that's something that you are interested in learning more about and doing. And if you don't know what CMYK versus RGB is, that's fine. Basically, how you need to prepare yourself and your client for how things are going to print versus how things look on the web or a computer screen or a phone screen. That sometimes can be drastically different in the colors that you can produce. So designing with CMYK mode versus RGB, looks like a lot of you have the interest in that. And there's some confusion around it too, and I hope to calm that down and get us into an area where we feel confident designing with that. All right, so what about half toning? Now half toning in terms of we can do half tone effects, but also half toning so that you can create better DTF images. Some people call it a knockout effect as well. For instance, if your design is going on a black shirt, then half toning that image wherever the black is means that it will extract the black from the design so that you feel the shirt in those areas, the black shirt, rather than the film that is filled in those black areas. And what that does is it makes the print softer. It makes it last longer in the wash because it's not a shield that the water is trying to push through and go through when it's washing the shirt. And it just has a premium hand to it, meaning that when you touch it, when you feel it, it feels more flexible and it doesn't feel as much of the plastic coating or shield that you may identify with some transfers on a shirt. So if that's something that you're interested in, half toning for DTF, give me a 3 in the chat. Okay. All right, all right. Now, next I'm going to ask you about event graphics and event scale graphics. For instance, the large scale arches, backdrops, floor wraps, standee cutouts, and those sort of things. If you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a 4 in the chat. And I ask that because for Memorial, you have a very unique opportunity to create and design for these experiences, but also these are things that people will keep as keepsakes. So you may end up producing multiple, let's say you do a really nice large portrait, and maybe one family member has it and gets to take it home and the other ones want it as well. It is an opportunity for you to be able to have multiple purchases for your products. So I want you to think about when you're making something, yes, you may make it for an occasion like the funeral, but keep in mind that once that product is seen, like the blanket and the pillows, usually the funeral home will give that out to one family member or whoever is getting the services done. And then people later on will order those products as well if they want them. So I want y'all to think along those lines as well. All right. Now, here is where I want you all to chime in. Is there anything? Oh, one more. Hold on a second. Programs. Are you all wanting to learn how to design and prepare your files for a funeral and memorial programs? If so, give me a 5 in the chat for that one. Okay. Okay. Because I have that project lined up for us. Now, let me ask you this. Is there anything else? Anything that I have not said just yet that you all want to focus on for this memorial project? And I mean, for the duration of the next, we're going to do at least 5, possibly 6 weeks on Memorial, because there's so much that we can do and there's so much that y'all can tap into on a business level that I want to make sure that we do this one right. Oh, then you did your cousin's program last week and you said everybody loved it. First of all, my condolences, and I know that you had to have done a beautiful job. If you'd like to share it with us, feel free to share it with us. All right, you know I love to see what y'all are working on. So are there any other projects that you want to learn? This would be probably a more intense class, but I can see if I can get with one of my connections that does casket wraps. And even if we're just in our class doing the digital design for casket wraps, I think it would be a good class to go over the do's and don'ts of where you place your images, maybe even do a template for that, where you place your photos, not cutting off anybody's face, not cutting off text and putting things in certain places, what those sections look like. Is that something that you all are interested in? Whether you're interested in wrapping or not, are you interested in designing for casket wraps? If so, go ahead and give me a 6 in the chat. All right, well, and then this is what I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do based on what you all have just worked with me just now on. Okay. this is going to be a little more of a teaser than the actual full-scale work that we're going to get into, but I just want to show you the power of the AI, the power of your creative imagination, and how we're about to get deep into the projects that are upcoming. Now, y'all didn't give me anything else. Now, if I come up with something, I'll let you know, but I just wanted to make sure that in our research that we're about to do right now, that we have at least included some things that I know you all want to do. If y'all think of anything else, go ahead and put it in the chat while I'm doing this next step, okay? Because I know I told y'all, yeah, we're going to design in Photoshop, but I want to give you some idea of what we're doing and the why before we get to doing the how, okay? So I'm going to get the help of my custom print marketing expert here. And I'll go ahead and share that link with you all as well in the working document. You all forgive me, I'm working on a small screen, so usually I'm used to my big old screen and seeing everything huge in my face, but I have 2 small screens today. All right, so before we get going, and I'm on day 1, let me see if I can get this a little bit smaller. There we go. So before we get going, I want to consult with my custom print marketing expert because number 1, this will be what we work on throughout the entire week. Okay. And then what I'll do is I will update customer happiness. If you don't mind, let's make a separate document for our custom print marketing output. Right now for today, I'm going to go ahead and just put it, and you don't have to do it right now, customer happiness, because I know you're working on a lot as we're going, you're documenting everything. When I put what we're going to put at the end of today's document, I just want to make sure that we transfer it to its own document, because this document is going to grow as the week goes. And then those who are in the, if you're in our Craft to Quit program or you purchase and you are in the Create-A-Thon weekly challenge, you'll have access to that full thing, okay? All right. So what I want to do is I want to show you principles behind doing the work before we just jump in and start doing the work, okay? Now I'm going to be talking. I like the dictation method rather than typing. So just forgive me if it sounds like I'm talking to my computer. I am, all right? Okay. I have been contracted to design for a memorial project for an upcoming funeral. I want to give you some details of the person's image and some of the colors and design elements that we're looking for. And then I need your help deciding what products I should present to the funeral home and to the family as my priority projects, and then what might be some products that are unexpected or not as popular that would coordinate for this opportunity. Now I'm just talking to it, letting them know, hey, I have a project that's coming up. I want you all to be as fluid with your conversation that you do with the custom print marketing expert. We've designed this so that it can talk back to you and pretty much answer your questions, okay? Right now it's thinking. I'm going to let this go. But as it's thinking, look at what it's telling me. Now, I didn't tell it any of the products that we planned on doing so far or what you all are interested in, but it's automatically telling me that a memorial program. Why? Because that's probably the number 1 thing that's designed when it comes to memorial service or a funeral, okay? So with this, it's also breaking down some 4-page programs, 8-page booklet, a saddle stitch booklet. Now this is giving you some of those technical terms and layouts, maybe sometimes things that we're not thinking about. All right. Memorial poster boards. Now, I know from experience, because I used to have contract work with a funeral home, that was the number two thing that they needed. Outside of doing the programs, they would want these large boards printed. Sometimes they would be on a fancier material like canvas, but most often they were just printed on foam board, and they would have them on an easel next to the casket or at the repast or that sort of thing, right? So that is also a product that you would be able to coordinate with the memorial program. Now, has anyone ever done the poster boards? If you've done the poster boards, go ahead and give me a 1 in the chat. Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm just seeing your work. You did an excellent job, my dear. You honored her so beautifully. I love it. All right, awesome. And for those who put a 1 in the chat, did you all print them yourselves or did you outsource it? If you outsourced it, if you don't mind telling us, because we're not gatekeepers over here, I give y'all everything I got. The only thing I don't give you is all my time. So I give you everything that I got, but I just limit the time that I'm available to give it to you. That's how I've been rolling nowadays. I don't, if it's in my brain, if I ever done it before, I promise I'll let you know. But it's gonna be within a 1 or 2 hour window. That's how that's going. Okay. Walgreens, beautiful. Now, is anybody printing their own? If you're printing your own, let us know in the chat. All right, and these are pretty easy to get printed by a third-party printer, even locally. Walgreens, CVS. And some of you even probably use, if you're in a bigger town, you may even have local printers that print directly for you. Or you may even have items like this shipped to you. Oh, you've subbed it on the 16 by 20. Oh, nice. MDF, they also have metal that you can sublimate on that looks really nice as well. All right. So this is a big one as well. Now here we're getting into some small format memorial prayer cards. Now, this could be something that's actually given out to each person that attends the funeral. So this is actually a way, even if it is a smaller project, smaller scale, you can produce more of them and reach more people as well. All right. Same thing here with the bookmark, and the bookmark / prayer cards could even be almost one and the same. Thank you cards. It says a tribute video and graphics package. And I will tell you this, I did an impromptu video for someone using AI, all the techniques that we've been learning to do. And she was absolutely blown away. Let me see if I can show you. And we were working on our airline project, and I'm just going to show you real quick, because I do feel like we need to put this on our list of projects. Hold on just a second. I'm going to show y'all. She was amazed that her avatar was wearing the uniform that the girls were wearing. This was put together in less than 30 minutes, y'all. Created the avatar, created all of the scenes that she would be in. The whole point of this event, it was called a Night of Pearls, and the girls would showcase their gowns and also their talents, and they would show their travel, virtual travel, of course, internationally throughout the world. And this was just something to help commemorate the graphics and things that we were doing for the event. And I had this on a big screen. I even brought and rented out the big screen TV so that we could have this playing during the entire show. And that alone was something that, like, she was blown away by herself, the host, and then everyone else was as well. And I didn't realize, stuff that we do kind of on this regular basis, we just think it's just stuff we just doing every single week. blows people's minds. Okay. So I want to see how many of you are interested in doing a video for the memorial project that we're doing now. Like I said, depending on how many segments we have, it makes this, 5, potentially 6 weeks long. If you're interested in doing a video, give me a 7 in the chat. And this is without much emphasis on learning how to truly edit. I don't want y'all to be video editors. When I tell you, all I did was put those together and put like and I don't even know if I did a transition between those. Very simple. Very simple. But at a program, I think this could melt hearts. You can put music to it, All right, so that's 7. All right, so we got a lot of 7s. Cool, cool. And that is, I don't think, before I go into the next one, do y'all want to do a music class where we create the AI? Basically the soundtrack or a song for someone? If so, go ahead and give me an 8 in the chat. All right. Beautiful. All right. And you all are truly interested in that one. Okay. What about memorial t-shirts? Now, come on. We got to do the t-shirts because that's how we all pretty much started out, most of us, as the t-shirt lady, the t-shirt guy. Right? All right, give me a 9 in the chat. Did I even tell y'all 9? Y'all just started putting the 9. Y'all already knew. I already knew. Now, here are some coordinating products that I think that would do well for selling. Let's say if you design a t-shirt, you might as well design some of these other products, right? And we already know that we have ways to do that. I'm going to show you some ways to do that in AI this week. And then I'll also show you throughout the course of us working together, I'll show you how you might use the Automizer in order to design different products with just one t-shirt design. All right, so candles. Now this one, as far as designing the candles, I'm going to show you how to flip your design into pretty much any other simpler design. But this is at least giving us some ideas. Well, what do we put together for our collection or our packages, right? I want y'all to think in those terms. The canvas prints. This is what I was saying instead of posters. Some people also like to do the canvas prints. They're usually more expensive, can have a longer turnaround time because not everybody's printing on canvas. And then also these could be excellent upgrade keepsake of products for other family members, not just one time for the event. Acrylic memorial displays, and these are getting more popular as well. I would like to add to that, pretty much the slate displays as well. If you've seen the looks like flat rock, like it looks like rock on the edges, but it's flat and white on the front, so you can sublimate it. Those are really popular as well for keepsakes. All right, it says a memorial guest book, and I'm assuming that that's going to be the guest book that will be used at the event, and it's probably just a one-time product. And if you're creating coordinating pieces, that might be something that you want to do, or it may be something that you're not into doing because you feel like just making that one piece takes a lot of time and it's not easily something that you can duplicate or sell in bulk. So you make those determinations on whether you want to do the one-off projects or not. All right, so here again, this is where I was telling you the memorial throw blankets. A lot of the funeral homes will offer like one blanket to a family member. Usually it's the person that's, planning, and they'll offer it as a gift to the family. I've also seen them do that with the pillows. So those are products that are things that people can take home, they can have in the comfort of their home that just remind them of their loved ones. The memorial garden flags, sometimes those will be at the gravesite, but also people may want to put them at their personal homes. Now the wind chime, and I'm so glad that this is coming up with these products, because if I could tell y'all, I've been collecting some of these things and doing some of these things for years, and now this is helping me to solidify what products should be a part of the collection and in what order. But wind chime, normally you can do those with sublimation, right? And I do have like a wind chime spinner that it spins and it has the wind chimes on it. Now ornaments could be a great way for you to offer that with the funeral home, because this is something that people may even order way after the event happens, because maybe you've given an ornament to one of the family members or had it on display, and then they may want to come back and say, you know what, this Christmas I want to make sure that I have that ornament on my tree. Several family members may order that just to make sure that they have that keepsake. All right, and then I'm just looking here, a memorial journal. And we've designed and made journals before. Seed packets. Now, this is kind of unique to funerals and memorial services. They will have these seed packets that basically represent like, hey, this person's life on earth has ended, but take this seed and plant it as a way to remember them and grow something for the future, right? Those seed packets is just paper printed, right? So that offers you an opportunity to do something custom, do something beautiful, and the cost of doing something like that is very minimal, but you should be able to make a large impact because you can print those even on your desktop printers at home. You don't even need special equipment to do that. All right, so I'm going to put that, I won't put that as something that we learn to design, because like I said, that those are like so simple. I almost feel guilty like teaching them as a class to learn how to design. But usually what I'll do with something like that is I'll put it in the Automizer and show you that we can automatically design these other items once we do our main design for a t-shirt or a flyer, that sort of thing. Now, I've never thought about this one. This is a cool idea here, a memorial recipe book. If the person was known for cooking, that actually sounds very interesting. And with the power of AI also helping you to format and make things look pretty, I think this would be a really cool idea. Never thought about that as offering it to the family or the funeral home. I thought about it for myself. Like, hey, I need to get Granny's recipes together because at some point in time, like I got to learn how to cook like her, right? But I never thought about putting it as a package and marketing it to folks that really want to memorialize the loved ones' way of cooking and that contribution that they've made to the family. And I see y'all say, I'm seeing in the chat now, y'all made the slate, the wind chimes, the ornaments. Yes, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, and then here is giving us some ideas for packages, because y'all know the way that I made this custom print marketing expert. The whole point of it is to help you all sell more and sell better with ease. So it's sitting here and helping you come up with an essential package, a legacy package, and a heritage package. I even like the way that it came up with these package names, y'all, because I have on my notes, my collection is called the Legacy Collection, right? Instead of just saying, hey, this is memorial, I wanted something that sounded like it was premium, it was long lasting, and it was more than just for a funeral event. So I love that it has legacy in there. And then heritage, I even love that because that seems like something that people are going to take pride in and want for generations to come, not just a simple project and a day of the year. So, and also the way that you're positioning these, you're not just positioning these to sell to an individual that may need your services. You're positioning these to sell to a funeral director, that funeral home, right? Because they need to see this type of verbiage to make them feel like it's something that they could sell to their clients. All right, so here's some information that we will need to build, and I intentionally didn't give the information up front because I wanted to ask me for the information. So once I share the photo of the individual, the gender, the age, the favorite colors, the occupations, the hobbies, faith and background, military affiliation, if any, favorite flowers, vehicle or motorcycle interests, sports affiliations, or desired mood. Like, do you want this heavenly? Do you want it elegant, luxury, traditional? Do you want it to be nature inspired? I'm adding on from here. But what might that theme or that mood really feel like? Okay, so here is, and this is really the starter point here. Having this information first will help you develop your design. Okay, and I say that because I can make a template, right? And my template can flip to anything in the world. You know, I can flip a template. You all can flip a template even better than I can, because you all have been practicing this thing. But to have the understanding of where to start, what elements matter, that's what's truly strong here. So what I'm going to do, I'll copy and paste just this part right here. And like I said, I'll give y'all everything that I talked to this custom print marketing expert about. I'm going to copy and paste the entire conversation, so you do not have to ask it the same questions I'm asking it. Okay. But I want us to be able to focus on application and going forward, rather than getting stuck, copying and pasting every little thing as we go. Uh-oh. Let me reformat that. There we go. All right. So this is also what you would be asking your customer for. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to pause here because this is essentially where I wanted to go. So every day we're going to use a little bit of our custom print marketing expert, and then we're going to go into designing here now. Okay. So I'm going to give it a little bit more information just so we can get to the point of designing, and then we're going to get into designing. Okay. So if you like the look of something, you can use someone's example, but I like to, give the AI some understanding, some description, see what it comes up with, and see if it gives me some concepts that I really like. So I'm going to work off of this one here for Jasmine. And this is for the program. Like I said, once we go through our weeks, we're going to get a little deeper into doing the program, but I just want to give you this particular prompt just so you have it. I'll put it in the working document here. All right. And I'm going to read it out to you just so we get an understanding of what it means by mood, colors, that sort of thing. So for this one, I'm going to create it says to create an elegant high-end memorial flyer for a young Black woman named Jasmine Renee Carter. That name is completely made up. It says do not use a heaven theme, because I'm going to show you we can use the heaven theme, but I wanted to go a little less expected this time, so that we can learn how to design themes, whether they have the wings and the gates in the background or not. Okay, so this time I decided not to use that theme, but I wanted it to have a color palette of ivory, cream, plum, brush, rich green, because I wanted like a more deeper green, like an emerald green with gold accents. And it says feature a beautiful portrait of Jasmine as the main focal point, styled in a classy, feminine way. Add the text. And so this is basically all made up text as well. Why? Just because if I'm going to showcase this, I want to make sure that I'm showcasing it in a way that a person can see this project directly for them. A funeral director can look at this and say, oh, wow, you can produce that level of graphics, and I don't have to worry about typing anything up and formatting these things, or getting a template from Canva and wasting my time where I should be directing the funeral right now. Now I'm over here designing a program. If they feel like you can solve their pain points, right, you become the go-to solution for them. And that's what I want you to think about. I don't want you to think of yourself as just a designer. I want you to look at yourself as a problem solver. What problem are you ready to present a solution to? Right? So I told you all of those products we just came up with from the custom print marketing expert, gave us a whole host of ideas of things that we can design. Well, we're going to present these things to a local funeral home. Everybody is. I'm not going to have any excuses at the end of our session of why you all can't, because you'll have everything that you need designed and ready to go. I'll even show you how to put this into a marketing proposal. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with one thing. We're going to start with the program design. Usually I start from a t-shirt design, right? Usually I start from a t-shirt design. This time I'll show you how to do a t-shirt design, but I started with a program design because that's the number one thing that the funeral homes need printed. Now the families go for the shirts. So I'll make sure that we cover both of those, okay? But the idea is that you're going to be able to have the family is absolutely going to see this shirt and want it, but that funeral home wants to make sure, and that funeral director wants to make sure that you can produce high quality graphics very quickly. Okay, because they have a very short time frame to get work finalized, not just mock-ups and all that stuff. They need the work done. Okay, and if you're the type of person that can work under a crunch like that, then you don't have to haggle with them on price. You just have to make sure that you show up with a quality product on time. All right, so just showing you that. And then what I'm about to do next is, let me go ahead and download it. Okay. And I'm just pulling it up over here on the side so I can reference this information. So if you send this kind of questionnaire, ooh, let's tell it to do that. Why not? Can you make up a digital form that I can put onto a Google form that would ask for all of the relevant information and images in order to initiate this type of project? For instance, the photo, the date of birth, all of the information that I would need from the clients, their favorite colors, etc. Let's go ahead and make a Google form for that. Now, I wasn't planning on doing that right now, but I figured we were right there and we were about to answer some questions. So, listen, this is what I do for real, for real. So if we get a little off track doing some bonus work, is that okay with y'all tonight? If we create this Google form that you need to send to your clients, is that okay? Okay, I was just saying, just one person said it was okay because I need your permission if I'm gonna do some extra. Okay, so let's say this is your celebration of life and funeral design questionnaire. And then of course we can change some things if something seems off. Thank you for trusting us with this special project. Please complete as much information as possible. You may skip any questions you're unsure about and return later. I probably would take that part off because all they're gonna do is act like they're gonna return later and they're not. So I'll take that off. So I'm gonna say take this off. I'm not going to send it through just yet. I'm just making my notes as I go. So section 1, now it's asking this information, which is relevant if you have a relationship and that sort of thing. Is asking for contact information. If it's the funeral home, funeral director name, etc. So that is great information to collect. Although it's not necessary, it is good to collect that additional information because the funeral home themselves might not be doing it. But if they put you in contact with the funeral home director, then maybe that is an additional point of contact that you may want to make. Let's see here. Yep, full name, nickname, or what a name they were known by. That's important for a lot of folks. Date of birth, date of passing, the age, city of birth, current city, occupation, retired from military service, branch of service. And I think this is important too, because a lot of times, military service is a great way that someone shows their identity because it's so much of a part of their life. So I would not have thought to ask that as part of a questionnaire for a memorial service. So that's good. Year served, church or religious affiliation, favorite Bible verse or scripture. That's good to get up front if they have one. a favorite quote or saying. And if they don't have one, when you create the Google form, you don't have to make those parts mandatory. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. It's asking for the service information. So for this one, it's saying funeral service, celebration of life, a memorial service, graveside service, or repast only. I think some of those could probably be combined, because I would even be a little confused. I guess a memorial service, and it might need to have some descriptions here. So let me tell it what I feel. I'm just gonna talk to it. For the service type, maybe we need to give a very brief explanation of each service type, because I'm even a little confused between the difference between a funeral service, celebration of life, memorial service, graveside service, and repast only. I don't want to give a full-on description, but maybe just a few words or a quick sentence to differentiate those there. Okay. Talks about the theme of the service. I like that because there might be like doves as the theme, or that sort of thing, even for the theme. For the theme, I want you to give some examples of very popular themes. And also here, I want you to ask about the colors, and I want the colors to be next to the theme of the service. All right, dress code. That's interesting to see. Like, basically, is it casual? Then you can, design more t-shirt style. If it is formal, then maybe you don't want to have the grunge and the paint splashes and stuff. You want to have more elegant design elements there. All right, so what best describes your loved one? I like this part: elegant, traditional, modern, luxury, Christian, spiritual, military. And it says check all that apply. So I do like this. Sports fan, that would be cool. Preferred design style. And see here, this is where I was talking about, give it an example of the theme, but it's done it here in this section. But if they asked me for the theme earlier, I felt like that was the time to prepare us for the preferred design style or the theme there. Okay, so favorite colors. You see, I said put colors right under the theme, and it did it in this section. So what I may say for this part here is just not to put the theme of the service here. Let me just tell it that. For section 3, I don't want to ask for the theme of the service there, because it looks like in section 4, it goes more into depth about the theme and the colors, and I'd rather not ask that question twice. And this is what I'm saying too, like, yes, AI is phenomenal. AI is going to think of things that we don't even think of in the moment. However, you're the captain. You are the problem solver. You understand this problem in real life. So I want you to exercise your own discernment and your own problem solving skills. Don't just take everything that AI has at face value and run with it. Challenge it, correct it, clean it up, add to it. Okay, this is literally a tool, is not the full solution. You complete the solution. All right, so for preferred design style, I feel like that's pretty. Oh, let me do this for section 4. I want to add a few more preferred design styles. For instance, maybe doing one with nature or fishing, something to that effect. Maybe music. Think of some other themes that would be relevant there. For favorite colors, I also want you to give some design combinations there, just in case people are indecisive and don't know. Let's give, and don't call it favorite colors, just make sure that we label it something else, because it may not be that person's favorite colors, but it may be the colors of the event, or the colors of the design elements. So give some examples of color combinations that are extremely popular there. Same thing for the flowers. I want you to give some examples of flowers, and then that way they can select multiple flowers, let's say roses and ranunculus and palm leaves or whatever that is. Also, make sure that you're kind of giving an example of what that flower is. For instance, like a rose being classic, maybe the palm leaves being tropical, or whatever it is that kind of makes that element stand out. I like lilies. And of course, you know, all of the flowers that are popular for the memorial sprays and that sort of thing. So I want you to take control there and give me some understanding and information, as well as provide some clarity for the client. Remember that the funeral directors will be looking at this as well. So the more prepared this intake form is, will also help me impress them. All right, so if they give me a favorite song, that's really great, because if I were making an AI song, I can do it based on maybe their favorite artist or their favorite song. Favorite vehicle, that might be interesting if we were going to do a vehicle thing. Favorite animal, favorite vacation location, food or drink. And if they don't know these things, none of these things have to be mandatory. It just helps you get to know a bit more about the individual. All right, and then I like the special symbols to include. And these are things that we typically think of, and we might call them design elements, right? Or accents. Cross, dove, angel wings, roses, butterflies, eagles, American flag, military emblem, a motorcycle, and this is where that kind of vehicle goes in. And look, it's that fishing theme. It probably heard me talking earlier. Fishing theme, sports theme, musical notes, and I said musical. Look, me and ChatGPT, I'm telling you, we be thinking alike. It'd be thinking like me. I suppose, you know, creating a custom GPT might do that too. All right, so last is asking for photo uploads. Please upload the following images. It can do the person's photo, like a portrait. If they want to do any additional family photos, military photos, even like baby photos, that sort of thing. I think that would be good. Professional portraits. Listen, most people are not going to have no professional portraits. It doesn't even matter to ask that question, because if they had it, they would provide it. So I'm going to tell her to take off this question. Maximum number of photos available. I will never ask for anybody's maximum. That's not important to me. So I'm going to take these off. What section is that? Section 5? I want to take these 2 questions off of section 5. All right, those 2 questions there. I just think it's doing too much. Obituary content. Would you like assistance writing the obituary? And this is the thing, if you're even offering that service, and because you have AI, it's a lot easier to offer that service than before. Just make sure that you're ready for people to be coming back and forth with revisions and that sort of thing. Back when I was doing services for the funeral homes, and even if it was a personal project, people had to come with me with things already typed out. Why? Because I didn't want to type something and spell it wrong, or be, spending up my mental energy reformatting something for someone. So it always had to be typed up before it was sent to me. Now, you have AI. So this is something that I would consider writing an obituary, as long as they provided some details. Oh, that's my design timer there. As long as they provided some details, then I would use AI to help me build the picture that they needed for that. All right, so think about that long and hard before you offer that services. If you just want to focus on design, do not offer that question at all. Okay, I'm just focus on your design, and eventually, if you want to scale services, you will be able to do that. All right. So these are the sections where you would need them to provide the information if they're doing the obituary or the funeral program. Right. And here, this is really important because this is where you want them to say, hey, what products might you need designed? Okay. Select all the products that you need. This will be perfect because this tells you exactly what to put inside of the package for them. All right. Section 8 is going to be t-shirt and apparel information. Will apparel be ordered? Estimated quantity, sizes. Will it be a front and back design? Now, here's the thing too. You can go ahead and put an estimated price of a front and back design, or if you're doing all overs as well, then make sure that you put like center print front design, center print back design, all over front design, all over front and back designs. And I probably would not advertise to include the names on the back. If that's something they wanted to do, then I would do that as an upsell. And is there any special shirt wording? The reason why I think this is important is because as I was designing the program, of course, when you design a t-shirt, there are going to be different words on the shirt versus the program. And if let's say they want in loving memory or forever in our hearts. So for this one, I'm going to tell it to give some examples. Okay. Please give some examples under section 8 for the special wording. For instance, in loving memory, forever in our hearts. Give some very popular phrases that might go there. And of course, offer them to do custom text by letting them type what that option might be. Okay. When do you need proofs? When do you need final approval? When do you need the items to be printed and delivered? Now, this is AI thinking probably what I should have been thinking when asking about these type of jobs. Why? Because when you say, what's your deadline? Deadline for what? Deadline to have all of the final products in hand. Deadline to have the proof so that the family can approve them and we can get the process started. So this is what I would do. Okay. I would not let them tell me which of these details and dates. This is what I would do. For section 9, for the printing and deadlines, I would ask them when they need the items to be delivered or in hand. And then I would reverse engineer that date to give them a date for when we would need final approval and an electronic proof. That way, this would also let them know whether it is a rush order and if they are doing pickup versus shipping, we should be able to extrapolate that deadline for pickup and shipping as well. All right, let's see what else. Final notes, anything special that must be included, anything that should not be included, additional instructions, electronic signature. Now, this electronic signature doesn't mean anything to me. Here's where, if they are submitting this as a project to be done, especially if it accompanies some type of order, like an order number. For section 10, I don't want to call it final notes. Let's make sure that we have a disclaimer there for deadlines and print processes because we are going to be designing and providing digital proofs. So I want to make sure that they understand colors on screen may not necessarily look like the colors when it's printed. Also that there are some expected differences in how sublimation prints, for instance, in the armpits, if they're doing all over shirts or along the shoulders. And these inconsistencies are not defects, but they are just a part of the inherent process of sublimation. I want to ensure that it is clear that deadlines are highly important. And in order for us to serve them, we have to make sure that the deadline is doable for us. And that includes having on-time payment, as well as proofs approved on time. If you can think of anything else that we need to include in this disclaimer, please let me know. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and submit all my little notes now. Now, I guess this will be a bonus that we'll have. Like I said, I did not intend on doing that in class today. But we're going to be building our AI designs tomorrow. So this input would be very, very helpful to help break down what we're going to design for tomorrow. Ooh, okay. Let me look back at my little form. This form is looking good. Okay. It's editing those sections I told it to edit. And see how it's given the description: funeral service, traditional service with deceased present in a casket. Okay, it got real direct there. Okay. Memorial service, service honoring a loved one, typically without the casket present. Okay, that makes sense. Celebration of life is a more personalized gathering focused on memories, stories, and accomplishments. Graveside service, and then the repast. Okay, I like that it gave that delineation there. Okay, and it gave me an extension here because remember it stopped earlier, a little short of this, but also I have a musician now, a nature lover, a traveler, fashionable, artistic, humble, other. I don't know how we would design humble, but okay. All right, preferred memorial design style: heavenly clouds and angels, luxury gold and elegant. Okay. Beach and coastal, motorcycle tribute. See, I like that these give a little more expansion into the theme world. It even has a HBCU Greek-like theme. Okay. Colors: classic and elegant, faith and heavenly. So this is just giving some different color combinations. And then we have custom colors here. This is good, y'all. Oh, this would be great to include some children themes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me put that in my notes. Let's also make sure that we include some children themes as well. And then that way, when they do put in their theme, they at least have a little bit of inspiration by what we're giving them some options there. Floral preferences. Okay. White roses, red roses, pink roses, white lilies. Okay, I like that it's giving me a little bit of a breakdown here. Okay. Now, what I may do in my official presentation, I may actually put images of the flowers there just to kind of give some idea. But in general, we're just going to have this list here because we're going to keep it simple first, okay? Eucalyptus, it even has the greenery in there. Beautiful. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Oh, and for section 8, I asked it to help give me some inspiration for the apparel wording: and loving memory, forever in our hearts, gone but never forgotten, celebrating a beautiful life, always loved, never forgotten, your wings were ready, our hearts were not. Now we have templates that pretty much have all of these top expressions on them. Why? Because it's what people are expecting, but it also is something that we don't have to reinvent the wheel for. Okay, so I'm glad that it's reiterating that what we've already done is pretty much what needs to be done. Okay, rest in peace until we meet again, a life well lived, forever remembered, love beyond words, we thought of you today, family forever, heaven gained an angel, custom wording and custom text. Love it. All right. All right, so this is important too. It's probably not as fun as the design process, but this project agreement and important information is going to save somebody's behind. Okay, proof of approval. Customers are responsible for reviewing all spelling, dates, numbers. And I used to have that in my stuff because when I tell you I wouldn't even type nobody's name in, you had to text message it to me, and then I would copy and paste it from your text message to my email and then to my Photoshop. I was that careful about people's names. I never wanted to mess up somebody's name for a project like this. So I would always say human error is what I wanted to avoid in that process. And then once they approve it, the production begins. So basically, you're not going to print something unless it has approval. And also, this let them know that they're in control of that deadline if you need that approval. So if you say, hey, I need it approved by 10 a.m. and they're still making design changes at 9:30, one of the last things I say is, hey, we have to get final approval so that this can go to press or this can go to print at 10 a.m. If we don't have it, then it doesn't go into the next day, and that delays your project 24 hours. When you tell them that, they get to finalizing some decisions. Okay. So just let it be known and have those deadlines. Color variations, apparel printing notice, slight variations near seams, underarms. Yep, these are normal characteristics. Yep. Photo quality. Oh, I'm glad it said that, y'all, because photo quality matters. Trash in is trash out. So if you let people know that they need, that you need high quality images in order to present a high quality project, that's what you need in that description there. Low resolution or blurry images may affect the final output. I would even say for photo quality, for the photo quality part, I also want to include that it may require an additional fee for enhancing poor quality images. All right. And usually you'll come back to a client and say something like that. You don't just spring that fee on them, but you'll let them know, hey, it looks like this image is going to need some, some restoration or enhancement. If you want to approve that, here's my $25 fee. Please pay that invoice so we can get to enhancing the project before doing it. And make sure that they pay that before you begin your full artwork proof to them. Or you can proof it with the garbage image and then show them how much it needs your assistance. Let's see. Production begins after payment and proof are received. Delays in approvals may affect delivery dates. Good. Rush orders, rush fees may apply for expedited projects. Shipping carrier delays are outside of our control. Yes, I'm glad it said that, because that used to be another thing. You don't control it. So what'll happen is you get something in the mail, USPS or UPS delays your process, and then that person wants a refund from you, even though UPS tied up the package in the process. I've had that happen before. It was a major project where I did 115 all over shirt prints for someone. And guess what? I can't use it. I don't know those family members. 115 prints basically were no good, because by the time they made it to the person, they were not able to use them. Family was disappointed or whatnot. Now, I do everything in my power. I even reprint and expedite shipping if I know that it's going to save me a long-term customer. However, in this case, it was already last minute. I expedited the shipping for free on this, y'all. And guess who ended up paying for it? I paid almost $300 in shipping. Yes, and it still didn't make it on time. Now this one, if you pay for the expedited shipping with most couriers, if it's their fault, they will refund you basically the shipping price. But those 115 prints didn't go anywhere. Okay. And customer did a chargeback, and I'm not used to chargebacks, y'all. So that hurt my little feelings. And it wasn't my fault, but the customer also didn't get their stuff on time. So they felt like they could put that burden on me, and it did stick, because that's how PayPal does you. All right. But if I would have had it in my disclaimer and would have made that the customer's responsibility, then I feel like I would have been better prepared and I would have had something to present for a chargeback. All right. So, cancellations, design time already completed is non-refundable. Like that. I didn't think about that. Copyright permission. Client confirms they have permission to use all submitted photos and content. That's important, because if they give you a photo of their loved one and a picture of an Eagles logo, and they're like, yeah, he was an Eagles fan, Okay, so they are saying when they submit this, they have the permission to use that content. And because for them it's for personal use, they're not selling it. Maybe they do, but that's not for you to distinguish. That is for them to take the credit and permission for. And then it's an agreement. So I like that. And I'm sure we can go a little deeper into some of these things, but that's it. And here, something that I didn't think about, who has the final approval authority? That is important because sometimes I'll be designing something and it's a little too many hands, in the pot in terms of who to talk to. And it'd be nice to know who has the actual authority. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So I'm going to tell it, yes, let's go ahead and include the approval authority. You don't have to put family because it may not be family exactly, but just put approval authority for that section. And I like how this thing was thinking just like me. This single question prevents the 17 cousins giving design opinions. That's exactly what I was thinking too. I promise y'all this GPT is the next best thing to me, to talking to me, y'all. All right. Is this helpful as we're going through this journey? Because I know that this whole project is going to be a lot. We're going to uncover a lot. We're going to discuss a lot. I just want to make sure that this is something that's helpful towards getting you more confident and more prepared for your memorial presentations. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So it's like, that's it. Now I'm going to tell it to just go ahead and redo the whole thing. What is it saying? Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and redo the entire Google Forms document so that all I have to do, if it's an option, just copy and paste everything into the Google Form format. That's how I want it presented right now. All right. Like I said, that'll be some bonus material. And then I want to go over some principles because we are going to design an AI, y'all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a design that I already done in AI and kind of break it down and show you what it's good for, what it's not good for, and how to recreate it so that you can use it for other purposes. Okay, so we got that. Cool. So we'll be using that tomorrow. All right, beautiful. I just want to make sure it's all ready. Cool. And let me put on my list. Maybe we'll do this in Craft to Quit, showing you all how to actually make a Google form. I think that would be good for Craft to Quit. What do y'all think? Y'all want to create a Google form for this? Like actually see how to create it, distribute it, all of that stuff? Okay. Because this can even be incorporated and embedded into your website, right? And you know how you'll have an email that'll go to someone after they purchase something from you? You can have a follow-up email saying, hey, I appreciate that you paid for your design service. Now here's the questionnaire to fill out. So you really don't want people just filling this out willy-nilly. You want people filling this out once they have actually made a purchase for you or as part of a purchase, right? Oh, Lisa. Oh my Lord. My condolences, my dear, about your sister. But I'm so glad that you're here. And yes, this week we're doing our memorial Create-A-Thon. So Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. we're gonna meet up here and we're gonna be breaking down different things so that we can see how our future projects is gonna go for this memorial project. So this will be our project starter. The Create-A-Thon gets our energy flowing, and then for the next few weeks, I'm committing at least 5 weeks to us breaking down different memorial projects and designing them in Photoshop, in AI. So we'll be breaking down the different projects and components that we talked about earlier, like event graphics versus making videos, music, t-shirts, the funeral programs and all. Oh my Lord. Lisa, the fact that you are here right now is truly a testimony. My heart goes out to you. So I am absolutely just glad to see you here. I know the tribe is glad to see you here as well. And I'm certain that, some things that we work on this week and these upcoming weeks may help you actually get some things that you want to do and maybe even process some designs that'll be deep to your heart as well. And this is your family too, my love. So we are here for you. And I guarantee we got everybody in here has a heart for you and can relate to what you're going through. So you know how we are as creatives. This is what we do through grief. We create, we problem solve, we make something beautiful. So I'm happy that we can be that beautiful distraction for you too. And thank you, Hannah, for creating that the thing for the Google form link. I'll do that as a demo. We'll copy and paste everything for right now, and then we'll do that in one of our craft to quit sessions. I'll show everyone how to create a form out of it. And I think I could even share my form, and you all can make a copy of the form that I make so that you don't have to remake it from scratch. You can copy what I did and then format it, of course, use it like a template for Google Forms. Beautiful. Thank you, customer happiness. You are the best. All right. Okay, so now that we've gotten that groundwork done, we're going to pick that back up tomorrow, okay? But what I want to show you for today is when we get this beautiful image, and this is what we started out with talking about earlier today. This one would be for instance, for a t-shirt versus this one that might be for a program, okay? But take a look at something. It's got similar elements here. I'm going to show you exactly my prompts for how I broke it down and told it to turn that into a t-shirt design. We're going to work on that, I promise you. But this is what I want to show you. All AI work is not meant for all projects. Even though this says this is for a program, this may not be the size that I need it to be for a program. If I'm doing an 8.5 by 11 bifold, meaning that it's going to fold in half and create an 8.5 by 11 versus an 11 by 17 bifold, that means that you take that 11 by 17, fold it in half. We end up with different size images. So this may not fit for that. So what I want us to understand is that there's some formatting involved with designing with AI. But then there's also some redesigning that may need to be done. If I design this for a shirt, I probably could upscale that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I promise you, I know I can. I upscale some of those large format graphics that got printed on 4x8 boards, okay? Pure AI. I didn't do anything to them, but make sure that I made good quality artwork. Okay. And then there were others where I had to recreate elements and rebuild the design because it just wasn't going to make it as a solid design blown up. So let's say I wanted to do this for a backdrop design for people to take pictures in front of, or just for there to be a beautiful piece in the room. Well, this probably isn't going to cut it. Let's check it out here. I'm going to go to image size. And I'm going to put it into inches. Okay, 12 by 16 sounds pretty like a good size to print, but this is 72 pixels per inch. Usually for your desktop publications, you want to see 300 pixels per inch. When you're printing a program or printing something small that people are going to put right up in their face, 300 pixels per inch is what you're usually looking at. Now, a lot of times I'll design at 150 pixels per inch when I'm doing all over shirts, and larger because my file being much bigger is not going to be worth it for the way a person will view that product. So if a person is standing back viewing that product, then you can get away with 150 pixels per inch. Screen resolution is 72 pixels per inch. So if somebody's just viewing this on the phone or just viewing this on the computer, 72 pixels per inch is perfectly fine. All right. Then if we're talking about large format, large scale graphics, if I'm printing this as a backdrop or the photo boards, things of that nature, usually they aren't going to be 300 pixels per inch. I don't care what anybody tells you to send them a 300 pixels per inch image. Their printer probably can't even handle it. It's going to be very difficult to even send those type of files to your printer provider or even to your printer itself. So usually for my large format graphics, like I might be doing 120 inches wide, which is 10 feet wide, by 96 inches tall, which is 8 feet tall. If I do that, I want to show y'all something. Well, I'm gonna keep this as is, and then I'm gonna import it. So I'm gonna create a new document. And this one, I'm gonna do 120 by 96. That's my big backdrop, right? So instead of pixels, I'm gonna put inches. 120. I gotta show you better than I can tell you because this is Photoshop day, right? 120 by 96. My resolution is gonna be 150. And then I'm gonna call this my backdrop. All right, so I'm gonna make a backdrop. Now, depending on your printer, I design an RGB mode and my printer prints very, very well from RGB mode. There are certain printers that you have to put it in CMYK mode. So what I do is I design an RGB. This is what I'm telling you my thing is because I plan on showing it online. I plan on showing digital graphics as well as having printed graphics for sublimation and also doing banner backdrop. So that banner backdrop is probably the only one that I'm required to really do CMYK for some printers. And if that's the case, I'm going to do all the rest of my projects in RGB. Okay. And sRGB is basically like the screen RGB. And that's usually what it's set at as desktop. Your working RGB. That's what I'm going to go with. Square pixels is fine with me. I'm going to go ahead and create. All right, now, meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and create a new one for a program, right? So your program might be 11 by 17 inches as the outer part of the program. And for that, I'm going to do 17 by 11. So the width of this is going to be 17 inches. And the reason why I'm doing it as a spread is because the outside and the inside, if I want them to be continuous, I have to imagine it as a full one sheet of paper and imagine that it's going to be folded. This is called desktop publishing. This is actually what I started Photoshop in 10th grade in high school. I ended up being the newspaper editor, like the youngest newspaper editor the school ever had. And it's because I knew Photoshop and how to do this stuff, y'all. 11 by 17. I can't tell y'all how many times Photoshop has granted me opportunities, saved my life, gave me some money when I didn't have any money. So please do not take for granted your Photoshop skills. All right, so this one, because I'm doing it desktop publishing, I am going to do 300 pixels per inch. And now I'm going to go ahead and create that one. All right, so between the 150 pixels per inch for this backdrop and this 11 by 17 here, what I like to do is just drop in the image that I got from AI. So look how when it pulls in initially, it's that small. I'm going to increase the size of it. This isn't true pixelation just yet. And I want y'all to see something. Why are we designing Photoshop? Why are we learning how to design in Scratch? And really, I should never have my text that close to any of the scenes. I'm tripping. All right. Well, here's one reason. The resolution by itself. I'm going to go to View. And then in order for me to see what this actually looks like, I'm going to go to Actual Size. Look what happens here. I'm going to hold down space bar. And I'm going to use my Michael Jackson glove to hee-hee across the screen. Do y'all see that? This ain't no hee-hee moment. This is no laughing matter. This thing is pixelated. Decent, you know, for being blown up that much, but look at those pixels. Ew. Ew. Those little jagged edges. No, sorry, Bob. Okay. However, when I zoom out, if I prove this to a customer, I'm going to do Control-0, or let's do fit on screen. This looks all right. Like if I was to show people that, hey, this is what your backdrop will look like, the other part 2 to why I need to be able to redesign this, because my backdrop is wide, right? It's landscape. And the image that I have is portrait. So if I wanted to be able to mix this up a little bit and maybe even change some of the elements around. Now, I'm going to show y'all how to do this in AI. All right, I'm going to show you how to do it in AI, because sometimes you just need to have the idea together. Like how is it going to lay out? What would make this look good? Doesn't it fit better? Right? If I had someone standing in front of it, like, it fills out the space better. It feels like it was made for that proportion rather than for a t-shirt, and I just dropped it on, or a program cover, and I just dropped it on this white backdrop, right? Does that make sense? That's another reason why we want to be able to reformat and reuse our elements. All right, good. And like I said, I'll show you as we go, as we progress along, I'll be showing you, okay, this is how I upscale my artwork. This is how I create my pieces and stuff, okay? So I'm going to come back over here to this 17 by 11, and let me go ahead and just drop, it should snap to the middle. 8.5, boom. See how it snapped to the 8.5? All right. Now, I do not enjoy desktop publishing as much as I probably did back in the day. I actually did it in college too. I won some competitions. We had state conventions and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying, y'all stick to what you love. All right, see, look at that. That does not fit the scale of this. And I could just, stretch it out. And once again, ew. Okay. Ew also, because I have no bleed area here. That means if I trim this, I'm probably going to chop off parts of my design. It's just not what's up. So essentially, yes, AI can help to give you these beautiful ideas. And some people, and I've seen it, they print the stuff just like this with no editing whatsoever. But I want you to understand that you have the ability to use this as a tool and not as an end solution. So yes, AI is going to help you do some beautiful work. Yes, sometimes you'll be able to use it as is. But for this, to me, let me go back for a second and show you, hey, if I did absolutely want to use this without having to redesign, first of all, give yourself some bleed room here. And I'm not saying we have to give ourselves this much bleed room, because that is an absolute lot. But what I'll do, I'll go into my artwork, grab this cropping tool, and I'm going to hold down Control and Alt at the same time, pull this up, because I want to give myself a little bleed area there. Now I'm going to hit Generative Expand, and then just generate. It'll use Firefly for the fill and expand, just generate. And hopefully it's going to read my design and say, hey, you need a little excess piece of a flower edge right there. You need a little excess watercolor image there. Why didn't it do my generative expand? I did hit generate, didn't I? Or was I talking? I was probably talking. So I just did that for the top and the bottom. And then I would go in and do it for the left and the right, probably a little bit more on the inside, because I want to keep it uniform on the outside. Look at that. So when I tell y'all, I got the cheat codes to being able to use the AI now. I ain't gonna lie to y'all and tell y'all that I never just use AI as it is. I almost did a whole event with purely 100% AI. So when people tell you can I use AI for event graphics, they lie. They just don't know how to, or they just don't want to receive your artwork and take that time. I promise you, you can do it. I promise you I have done it. And I promise you nobody ever questioned whether my stuff was AI or not. Let's go ahead and merge that down. I'm gonna merge that down. Okay. Now this time I'm gonna do the outside separate from this inside corner, because I want to get a little bit more meat there. And I'm just eyeballing this. I should have measured it, y'all, but I'm just eyeballing to see if that's going to give me a similar margin there. Let's go ahead and generate there. I told you I was going to show y'all how to do some of this stuff in Photoshop. Today's Photoshop day now. But I got to show you why before we get into building from scratch. So the first thing that we will be doing next week, so next Monday, the first thing that we're doing is building from scratch. But I got to show you what Photoshop can do, and I got to show you how to get your elements together so that you can build something from scratch. Okay. So this week we're going to be doing a little creation. Next week we're going to start building the actual projects. Okay. But I've got to show you some of this stuff today, because otherwise you need the excitement. You need the design excitement to know what you can do with this stuff. All right. And of course, it gives me some variations here. And I'm fine with what it gave me with number 1 there. Once I have what I like, I'm going to go ahead and merge it down. That way it won't just be this huge AI file. Now for the inside here, I'm going to bring that over. And this is where it can get a little messy, but all I just need a little something there so that I can make sure that it makes sense for an 11 by 17 versus an 8.5 by 11 bifold. All right, let's go ahead and generate. Sometimes this thing is good and sometimes it gets a little questionable. So we're going to see. But all the reason why, when I show you how to design from scratch, it's going to all make sense. Okay. And let's see. Not bad, but it didn't go with like my original. This one's probably best. I'll rock with this one. I can rock with that one. All right, let me merge it down. All right, and then this time, let me save it. Control W to close out of the window. Now it looks like I have a little bit more to work with, right? And I'm going to go ahead and pull this all the way down. Make sure I have a little bit of bleed cutting off there. Move it over to the right just a bit. That way, when I trim this, because I don't like to see those white borders, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. Those things are not cute whatsoever when you're doing desktop publishing. When you're doing programs and things of that nature, something somebody holds in their hand and they take home and they display forever or they keep forever. I need that to be right, especially because, on the back, I put, program designed by me. I want them to come see about me. Okay. So I'm going to put my best work forward. So now that fits an 11 by 17 bifold better. Okay. And actually it ends up, when this one bifolds, the end size of it is going to be an 8.5 by 11 because I'm printing on 11 by 17 paper. Okay. And like I said, I'm even going to show you how to do the front design. After you get the front design in AI, how to do the back design to coordinate with it, how to do the inside. I will show you that because we're going to do a whole class just on building programs. So please believe me, I got y'all on that. Just stick with me for these next few weeks. And if you're not in the Craft to Quit program, first of all, why not? Secondly, you may want to go ahead and sign up so you don't miss the rest of this challenge. Because if you sign up Craft to Quit, you'll be able to come to class in the Zoom room for the entire Create-A-Thon that we're doing this week, but also the implementation that we do on the weeks to follow. You'll have this experience where you come into the Zoom room, I'm helping and I'm showing you these things. I'm giving you templates, resources, AI working documents that have all of the prompts and everything in them. Those are the tools and resources that come along with being a part of the Craft to Quit tribe. Okay, so this is something that you get much more access to and hands-on application. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna plug of that tonight. And I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that we end this on time tonight. So I got about 20 minutes left to give y'all everything that's on my brain. Are y'all still with me? Oh, Cecily asked, what do you plan to do about the J overlapping her hair? Ooh, that's why we're gonna rebuild it. Why? Because every little piece of this is an element, is a layer, right? So we will rebuild this, absolutely. And this is what I'm saying. We're going to have a whole class where we build the template for the program versus the template for the shirt. Why? Because they're going to be different. You have different elements, different layouts, different printing principles and all. But right now, I'm just showing you, if I had to do a little razzle dazzle and I had to do a little printing, like off of whatever I could come up with at 2 o'clock in the morning when these people sent me they words and they picture, because it's gonna happen. I could technically use this. And I'll even show you how we're gonna upscale it to where it is printable and it is upprintable. All right. But right now I'm just giving you these principles inside of Photoshop of how we're going to proceed forward. Okay. Now for this design, I would need these pieces. I would need that that watercolor background. I would need the little pieces of these flowers, because you can upscale this, and I'll show you what the result looks like upscale. Okay. But even with me upscaling this, I'm going to run into some quality issues. So now let's take the same image. And it is to the backdrop one. Where's my wide backdrop image? Where is she? There it is. Okay. And now I can go here to upscale. I'm going to upscale it 4 times. It's going to charge me to do that, y'all. But I want you to notice that there are going to be some compromises. The little scroll details, the little fancy little swirly details. Those, even when you upscale, they're not vector, so they kind of look a little weird. They don't look as polished as they could. But that's also why I do stuff like create my own here, and I will isolate them. And I can't wait to show you how I did that for this this past project that I just did. Isolate those individual elements, upscale just that element itself, and then bring it back in, clean it up. And if we're working in Photoshop, those do tend to be larger because they are bitmap. Those little elements will make them nice and clean, but they will be larger files because they're bitmap. But you can also vectorize those. And when you vectorize them, you can bring them in tiny, blow them up as big as you want. And as long as it's a smooth, clean vector file, it will not take up any additional space, and it will never lose resolution. So like I said, when I have on my list that y'all want to design the large format stuff, I will show you how we're going to do those breakdown in elements. Okay. Let me go back to our little project here. Oh, I lied. Back to all right, it's still processing there. Y'all see, these are my little frames that I made that video. And I can't wait actually to show the girls how to make this kind of stuff. Y'all know I'm got a soft spot for the kiddos. So I'm gonna show them how to do the same thing I'm showing y'all how to do. All right, let me go back. Just kind of give y'all some of the sneak peek of what we're going to do and learn coming up. For instance, I need to rebuild this design. What do I need to rebuild the design? I need the portrait of the girl. I need the flower elements. I need a nice, pretty backdrop. If I want to put this as my actual funeral program background, I want something nice and pretty. I don't want that plain old white background. Like, why? I mean, you can have a plain white background, but why? If my background could look like this, right? Have a little color, looks like it's got some watercolor, some texture to the paper, even if the paper is just a plain old cheap white paper. I just made it look like it's luxury linen paper. Anyhow, I'm going to show you how to do all those things coming up as well. But my point is, I have to get your feet wet in the process so that you see what we have the possibility of doing, so that you all engage with me in these next few weeks as if you are doing this for a real deal contract, okay, or a real deal order. And some of you may be doing this for a real order. And the reason why I want you to, and we'll touch on this a little bit more as we go forward, especially in our craft to quit sessions. The reason why I want you all to make these connections with the funeral homes and funeral directors is because it is very hard to market and be the person that's the go-to for memorial shirts. That actually takes a lot of time to build up, because it's really word of mouth. It's very much word of mouth. And you're always left with these tiny, tight deadlines. But if you have a funeral director looking out for you, then they are dealing with the constant traffic of memorial projects, right? Every single day, not even just every week, every single day, they are automatically getting clients to them. So they have plenty of leads that you don't have to find. They can find you, and you can be the person that connects and gets this project done for them. And like I said, you don't have to worry about the funeral homes nickel and diming you, because typically if they have to pay for a process, especially a physical product, now digital is different now, because we have ways that people can design all over the world, even overseas. So design is actually very competitive when it comes to digital and online. But for physical products, if you can deliver that poster print, if you can deliver those programs, if you can deliver those t-shirts to them, and them not being worried about it caught up in the mail or express shipping fees of $200-$300 to overnight a blanket, if you can produce those products, then you have a customer for life. As a matter of fact, you'll probably start getting other funeral homes in the area once you have made a mark with at least one. All right. So my goal is to show you how to impress them, but also how to provide this quality of work over and over and over again, right? Without having to use a major company as your test, your test company. All right. All right, so I'll show you how we break these elements down, get these little pieces. And of course, y'all said y'all want to design from scratch. So I'll show you how to design from scratch with that. I'll show you how to implement some of these in order to do, some event graphics and different outputs. Like, how do I design a t-shirt versus a funeral program, right? So I use the funeral program to design a t-shirt, and I'll use it also to say, hey, well, I want to do a prayer card, or I want to do a fan, or some of those other products. Oh, I can't believe they didn't put fan on that list. Y'all know the funeral fans? Oh, we've got to put that on the list. Okay, funeral fan. Definitely have to put that on the list. And Lisa, you did fans? I bet they were gorgeous. Feel free to share them in the chat. If you have any pictures or anything you want to share, feel free. All right. So I only have about 13 more minutes, y'all. Let me pause for a moment here, because I want to show you all what the upscale version looks like. But then I want to also leave some time for Craft to Quit in the Zoom room to ask some questions. Let me just refresh this. It should take me back to the top of the page. All right, boom, there it is. So this is an upscale version. Now, from this screen, you may not be able to tell, but I'm going to download this image and I'm going to drag and drop it into our backdrop like we did the other image. And just that alone, y'all, if y'all don't learn nothing else now, if y'all took no other notes than that tonight, that is going to be a game changer and a lifesaver for you. Okay. Let me just show you better than I can tell you. That's one of my daddy's favorite expressions, so I'm gonna share it with y'all. Let me show you better than I can tell you. Boom, drag and drop it. Now remember, last time it came in smaller, right? This time it almost came to the extent of the artboard there. So let me make it the exact same size so we can compare apples and apples. All right, then I'm gonna go in and do view, my actual size. All right, now some of the details get a little AI-y. I don't know if that's a word, but AI-ish. But I'm going to show you something. All right, let's go to right about here, this level. Zoom in. Let's see. View. Okay, where were we getting our grainiest little bits? All right, let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, it was mainly in our little watercolor area. Okay, even with the text here, see how the text has these little fuzzies around it? Let me zoom in. See how it cleaned up our text here? Now, this is where I was saying it doesn't do the best job when we have these decorative elements. The decorative elements don't clean up as nice. But I felt like if I had to print this, I would actually be all right just printing this. Now, would I do this? If this is a memorial project for me in my business, I would rebuild the graphic. And that's what I'm going to be showing y'all in our build from scratch session. I could print this as is. Actually, this wouldn't be bad to print as is, but I would do much better if I had just upscaled her face separate from the flowers, because it got the flower details in pretty good, but then the face has these kind of weird artifacts in it, which kind of look artistic, but that's not what I was going for. I'm going to show you the difference when we rebuild the graphic and we upscale just the photo, just the flowers, and just the individual flowers, build the flowers back up, how this ends up being a much better, higher quality project. Okay, but I did want to show y'all, if you had to take the AI artwork that you have as is, upscale it, and print it just like that, it can work. Now, if I wasn't happy with just this thing here, I got a quick little second I can show y'all this. Let's say all the text looks okay, but this right here, I want to redo this part of the graphic. Now we're going to do this in our upcoming AI, but I just kind of want to give y'all an idea. I'm going to do Control J, just so I can have that little element by itself. Then let me turn off. Turn off everything else. And I'm just going to hit remove down here. So the remove function uses AI inside of Photoshop, but it does not use up your generative credits. For instance, like where you're using Nano Banana or you're using Firefly, it typically is an advanced level of what they used to call, but they still do because you still have it in here, the content aware field. So it kind of looks at what's around it, what's inside of it, and tries to delete pixels, but it doesn't physically delete them. It just creates a new layer. So this is a very powerful AI tool to use within Photoshop. Now, the reason why it's taking so long, remember what size my graphic is, 120 inches by 96 inches. This is huge. And typically, something like this, AI doesn't even like to, it doesn't like to touch. Sometimes it may even crash out on you and tell you that it's not going to be able to create that graphic. So let's just hope that we didn't have too much going on this program where it can think through it. But look at how long it's taken to do that. That's because we're dealing with a different scale of project. This is a huge design. All right, so I'm gonna leave that alone as is there. And then what I want to do, yep. So that one was too big. So what I could do here, this is what you should do anyway. Go into the graphic, and even this graphic itself is pretty large. Remember, we upscaled it. So go into the graphic instead of the file that had all that stuff on it. And these here, I probably could go with those, but I could even extract those and make new ones or find new ones. To show y'all this little trick before I left. And why y'all want to be with me for the design from scratch class. All right. And let's control click on that. Let's see if I do generative fill here, if it'll go a little bit faster. I'm doing generative fill versus the remove, because generative fill thinks harder but it uses up your credits. So if I use just the remove feature, it acts more like a deletion tool. There we go. Now, look at that. Oh, okay. I think I got 5 minutes on me. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let's go ahead and quick export that as PNG. And like I said, we're gonna build, y'all. These are all the things that I did for the project that I was telling you about. It was a whole stage design and all, and every last bit of it was AI. Now remember, we rebuilt this graphic here last week. So y'all remember we used AI to get the concept and then rebuilt the design from scratch? Yeah, we're gonna do some more of that. Why? Because we need to. This is helping you all get ready for real, high level graphic design projects and jobs where people rely on y'all for this. All right, so boom, boom, boom. Let me grab, what did I do for my pearls? That's my upscale. Okay. So I'm going to say clean up this exact decorative accent. And make it high resolution, isolated on a white background. I'll take this little piece that I just did Control J just to capture a little screenshot, little image of just that scroll. All right, and then what I need to do is make sure that I give it an appropriate ratio. So I'm going to tell it I want a 21:9 because that's the widest one that I can get. And I'll do it with the Google Nano Banana Pro, and then I'll also do it with the ChatGPT 2. I'll let y'all be the judge. In this one, I want to make wider. And so far, the ChatGPT 2 has been doing a great job with generating my images and listening to my instructions of how I want things. And it does better with typography than the Nano Banana does. So there's some strengths in the different models. And I'll tell y'all when I use them versus when I use another. Now, I will say Nano Banana Pro goes faster too. Now, look what my Nano Banana Pro did. It made it look a little 3D. Isn't that cool? Now, if I told it to make it, one color, black and white, vector style, then I could bring it into a vector program and vector it. But this looks a little more 3D. I'm going to go ahead and upscale it. Now, this is how I build designs from scratch. Like I said, we're going to do a from scratch session, a whole week where we're going to design all our elements in AI, isolate them, and then we're going to build a design from scratch. And then I'll even show you how I, change the colors and everything in Photoshop versus having to tell AI to do it each time for each design. Usually, if I'm using AI to design as if it's a template, it does sometimes make some changes I don't want it to make. All right, so it's upscaling that one down. But even if it didn't upscale, oh, that was done upscaling. Oh, this is my GPT-2 image of it. See, this one, I'm not crazy about that one. It doesn't seem like it made it any cleaner design. Let me see the next one. So GPT-2 this time didn't impress me much. I'll go ahead and download this scroll. Now, this isn't the one that's upscaled. Now, here's the thing. Just as I was teaching y'all last week, when doing these like large format graphics, I do not upscale anything until the client says, yes, that's what I want. Because I would almost rather rebuild the design with those elements than sit here and upscale a whole bunch of things and they not approve the design. But in my case, I think most things as far as the props and everything still look good enough to present, but they look better whenever you upscale them for print. So I usually will get it proofed at the non-upscale version. Close that down. And then once I get the final approval, I build with the upscale version. And as a matter of fact, let's see, did it give me the upscale version? Let's refresh. I think the upscale version one was ready. Here we go. And then what I do is I open up the image itself, remove the background. So when I click on the move tool, where's my contextual taskbar? There it goes. I'm going to remove the background there. And then what I like to do is just take just this layer. And I'm going to call it Scroll Gold 3D. Okay. And I'll quick export just that element as a PNG because it already has the background removed. And I don't have to deal with all of this excess that's at the top and bottom when I'm scaling it. I'm going to close it without saving it because I have the PNG saved. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I was supposed to save that one with the design removed from it. Not bad, y'all. That's what I get for closing out things while I was talking. But y'all saw how we did that. Just selected that area. And we let AI basically remove this part of the design. And this is me doing a little hybrid because I'm not redesigning this whole thing, but I'm designing the stuff that would be AI detected, basically. Like if somebody saw that, they'd be like, yeah, she didn't really design that. That's AI right there. Because I could tell because that little design element right there just looks janky when it's blown up. Those kind of things are the things that you want to fix in Photoshop and make sure that you maintain your integrity. And yeah, I just do Firefly here. It should be good. I apologize, I'm redoing this step because we already did this part, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like when we put the new scroll on top. See, I see a couple questions on YouTube. What's the best way to deliver blankets without large format printer? You can tile those things if you want to. I've seen people do the ones that have the sections, like the 9-panel blanket, and then you print large enough to fit in those 9 panels. Or you can also do have a split template that will take any size, including a blanket size, and split it down into roll media. For instance, if you have a 13-inch printer, it'll put it in 13-inch roll media. However, tiling stuff is not how I would want to go, but if you have to go there, there is a solution for that, to basically tile your work. And if you look on N8 Academy, we have a split template, and the split template goes for 8.5-inch printer, 13-inch printer, and 24-inch printers. What am I doing? Merging it down, right? Boom. Before I start talking again. All right, let me close it out. This time I'm gonna say yes, and we'll see. All right, on our upscale image, we should be missing the details for the scroll here now. Let's do Control D. Control D, get rid of that. And then let's go ahead and drag and drop in our little new scroll. And now I could even overlap my elements and it looks higher quality. So let's turn on the old one. Let's make the scroll kind of in the same position. Same position and scale. And you notice it's not the same exact scale because it made it more symmetrical. But I'm fine with that. Overlapping the letters there. All right, so let's do move it down just a little bit here. There we go. And now each element that I would want to do, I would do like that. So if I zoom in now, you can see how my text is now cleaner and larger, and even my design element has it's cleaner, but it also looks a little more 3D. You can see that it pops out, has a little more shadow to it. So that is just simply recreating one element. Now imagine if I were recreating the flowers and recreating the gold accents here and even the watercolor background, right? I could just, because all of these elements look really nice. I'm not going to hold you. The upscale made those look really nice. I might just need to replace just the image here, just the photo, so that the photo has the qualities that I wanted to have. And like I said, this will be worth understanding how to rebuild the project from scratch. What needs to be rebuilt? What is fine to stay? How would I retype this text or recreate this text here? I'll show you all that as well. We did a little bit of that the past week or so within Photoshop. We use AI to detect the fonts and that sort of thing as well. But ideally, I've gone through a little bit of Photoshop today to show you for the projects how you can test your AI artwork, how you can upscale individual elements, bring them in and enhance your project so that it does not look like you just, threw some AI together and charge somebody. I charge $75 minimum for per large format page that I touch. So let's say they're doing multiple, art boards, and I have to create artwork, whether it be AI or from scratch. It doesn't matter to me because I have to clean up AI artwork as well. I charge $75 per art panel, and that's not even that expensive. I actually charge $200 for my first design and then $75 for the additional one. So let's say they're getting a big backdrop done. I want to make sure that I'm getting paid for the amount of time that I'm putting detail into the graphics. I upscale photos within that because that is pretty much included with my price. So they'll send me a photo and I'll make sure that all the people in the photo look good. They're upscaled. Their skin looks glassy and high resolution. They don't know that's why they're paying me, but they just know the artwork looks really good when they get it. And I just wrap that up in a $200 fee. And then I'll do the subsequent and matching projects for that too. However, that's not how I started charging. I don't want y'all to think that that's how I started charging. But that is what I do now in order to make sure that I'm getting compensated for the time that I spend on doing large format artwork. I'm sure I could be charging more. All right, so let me see here. Do I have any questions? Y'all have any questions coming up for not just as AI Create-A-Thon week, but in general, since we're working on this Memorial Greater project? Do you all want to see anything? Do you get weak in the knees about certain things? And you need me to help strengthen them up? Yeah, I'm asking my craft to quit Zoom room now. All right, so I think we have a pretty packed lesson plan coming up with a few things that we added today just based on what you all want to learn. Okay, a great question. How can we ensure quick turnaround times for memorial work? Number one, I would work from templates, even if you're using AI and you're not using, like, for instance, templates that we create here. A template is a great way for you to be able to replicate a process without having to think of how to do it from scratch and, submit artwork and you don't know if they're going to like it or not and you're waiting for them. If you work from a template, or let's say, for instance, this is now a template. I'm going to tell you this is a template because I'm going to show you how it can be templatized in AI, whether you bring it in Photoshop or not, or how you can bring it into Photoshop and templatize it as well. But it's a template, so I can provide this exact image to somebody and say, okay, well, this is my design A, and then I can maybe have a design B. Which design would you like? The quickest way to get design done is to know what you're already designing. So if they say, yeah, I like this one right here, can you switch it out and just put her picture in there? And the colors for the service is going to be red and green. So can we take out the purple and make it red and green, make the color scheme red and green instead? Absolutely. Can we change those flowers to, instead of the roses and orchids with the calla lilies, can we do roses and just calla lilies? Then you truly have a template, because you go into even the AI description and say, hey, I want to change out the orchids for this plant, or I want to make sure that we don't have any orchids in the design, but you can use, more roses. I want to change the roses I want to change all the colors from purple to red now. And I'll show you how we do that. The quickest way to design is with templates, 100%. Especially if you're talking about doing quick turnarounds, because you will stress yourself out trying to make something from scratch for somebody in a short period of time. That's my experience. So no, if it's a retractable band, when I say event graphics, the reason why I charge $200 for event graphics, that's why if anybody comes to me and says they want an event graphic, that's where I start at $200 for a one item that I'm designing. Why? Because I know when they're coming to me for event graphics, they're never coming to me for just one thing. As a matter of fact, they'll come to me for that one thing. Oh, do you think you could just adjust it now for a floor graphic? Do you think you can take it now and make it into a circle so we can use it for this, that, and the other? Nope. I charge $200, and I've had to tell, like, a top graphic or a top producer for events, no, because once I design for that $200, you got to pay me $75 every time I touch it and rescale it again. It takes up my time, it takes up my computer time. It's not free, right? So if you feel like it should be free, then you take the $200 graphic I gave you and you reformat it to be in a circle or a rectangle or anything other than that, because that's not what I was paid for. Okay. And I had to get strict with that because I realized I was designing for free, and then people would know that and they would say, oh, well, I'm just going to pay you for one graphic and have you resize and redo all this other stuff. No. Now, if I am being commissioned to do like just a retractable banner, it depends how much information is on there, how much, needs to be tiled together in terms of graphics versus text. I start those designs at $75. But essentially, I don't even take a $75 job anymore. So yeah, I do start at $200 because I don't think I've taken a $75 design job in forever. The energy that I put into design is worth more than that, especially when I'm doing large format graphics. No, you're doing it for a t-shirt, you can kind of get away with some of your elements, being AI and not having to upscale, not having to rebuild a graphic. And I'm gonna show y'all that too. That's why you're gonna be able to get away with, $25 designs, because you got a template. Either you have a Photoshop template that I gave you that you can flip in 5 minutes, or you have an AI design that you can easily reword a couple of things and get the design done. Either way, it's 5-minute templates. The turnaround time, if you're doing memorial, I'm going to put it to you like this. If you're doing memorial and you're going to be contracting with funeral homes and funeral directors, they don't want to hear nothing about 3 to 5 days, because they don't have 3 to 5 days. You will have to set your price at a point, and this is what I'm telling you, $200 is a sweet spot. Why? Because it scares away the cheap ones, and it positions you with somebody says, dang, if their design fee is $200 and they can do same day, next day designs, then I'm going to keep them on call. I can't tell you how many customers I had when I had a 1 hour design fee, I think it was $200. And I was doing it based on my templates, y'all. I wasn't even designing from scratch. And I can't tell you how many people, how many times they would come back to me repeat because I was able to perform for them in a short amount of time, high quality results, and they were doing memorial based stuff for, you know, last minute graduation designs. And they didn't care. They passed that amount on to the customer. They told the customer it was $250 design fee, and that customer paid it. Let me tell you, you are worth it if you can get it done. But you can't get it done if you over here accepting $10 designs for last minute, and then your funeral director come to you. They really need you to come through, and for that $10 design, now you're late on your $200 design for your funeral director. That's not how we want to prioritize. I promise you. If you charge $200 for, and I wouldn't even, because I do design pretty fast if I need to. And like I said, I usually have templates made up. The same templates I made up for y'all because I didn't have templates made up for myself. So I got very confident doing 1 hour designs for $200. I would not do that for the funeral. I would say, same day designs, $200. Give me at least 8 hours. And it has to be during business hours because you can't count midnight when you submitted an order, right? But I can do them, and I have done 1 hour designs for $200, and I've done them for y'all for that. And then I got to the point where I didn't want to do that. I might bring back the $200 1 hour design just so I can show you better than I can tell you. And I used to do them live. I used to do the designs live, show y'all what I was doing, show the client what I was doing, let them approve it live in real time. If y'all want to see that come back, let me know. That was back in the day when I was doing my hustling thing, you know. So how you did it, $200? All right. Let me put that on my list. Let me put that on my list. We may do that as like a special session where if I'll find a job to do for $200 for an hour and show y'all how we can get it done. But like I said, don't y'all charge $200 for a 1 hour design. Charge $200 for like a same day design. I think that's definitely worth it. And I think funeral homes will pay for that. Okay. Especially if they're backed up, because a lot of times they have in-house designers, but they're still backed up. Okay. Oh, Lisa, those are gorgeous, my love. Beautiful. Yes, those are gorgeous. So this is we're going to go on a journey together. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some heartfelt moments. We're going to have some touching moments, y'all. Usually when I do memorial designs and projects, I do them at like 2 o'clock in the morning when nobody can mess with me. Nobody can get in my brain. I don't have to hear anybody else's noises because I really like to connect with the project. Sometimes people can't handle doing memorial projects because it's just something for them that they don't like, dealing with death or being in that vulnerable state, because you can, be attached in these instances because you have people that you're dealing with who are really in probably some of the most vulnerable states they'll be in as far as a customer goes. So they're dealing with money, they're dealing with loss of life, they're dealing with probably family issues and everything else. I have had some of my best experiences being experiences that I've done for memorial projects because I always put love into it. But what I really sense is that the client themselves doesn't feel like a customer. They feel like they were catered to. They feel like that they've received a piece of something that they can keep with them forever. And for that, it's not a price as much as it is an experience that you're building for them. And I want you to focus on that when it comes to if you're doing like especially person to person. Now, when you're dealing with the funeral homes, I still do it the same way because I imagine that funeral home is presenting my work like it's theirs. So when that funeral home gets oh, I love it, I promise you that's all I need to hear. A gasp and I love it. That's it. And that lets me know it's ready to print, ready to go, and my work was worth it. Okay. So I want you all to experience the same things. I want you all to have the same confidence going into it. I want you to have the same love and dedication to those projects. And they will pay off because you will be known as that person that puts that energy into it. And when you're talking about word of mouth, when you have word of mouth connected to an experience like that, you can't go out of business in terms of not having work to do. You'll be turning down jobs like I was, okay? Like if it can't meet your schedule and the quality of the photos on, like, you can turn down work at that point in time because you'll be that good and that sought after. And I love that, especially if you're able to do this for like Felicia says, an anniversary design. I would love that. Set design fee, no matter what we're designing and who we're designing for. Crystal, that's a great question, because I do sometimes do it anticipating what type of work is going to come along with it. Like I said, I get a lot of times that people come to me for event graphics, and that's why I started $200, because I by experience, I already know, oh, you're not coming to me for just one little thing. You want to take my one little thing and flip it a million different ways. And if I never give you the source file for it, which I don't, then you have a way of basically needing me for other versions of the graphics. So I make sure that I build that price into it. If I'm doing, for instance, memorial shirt design, then typically, and what I do is I build the design fee into the first shirt and then tell them every shirt after that is X amount of dollars. That's one of my marketing strategies for that, because I don't want to just do a memorial design for free just to sell a shirt. And so many times, y'all could tell me in the chat if you've done design for free just to sell a shirt. And it's not worth it, because it's a lot of your time built up into it. So what I do is I'll say, hey, the first shirt is front only is $50, and then every shirt after that is $25. That's the same as me charging a $25 design fee, right? But if I say my design fee is $25 and then every shirt after that is $25, it sounds a little different. Then they think, oh, well, let me just get you to design it and I can get somebody else to print it. No, that doesn't include me giving you my design to print with anyone else. That includes me printing the design on something. But if you want to be able to do just digital work, you can do that as well. Just make sure that it's worth your time. And I'm only doing it for $25 because I have a template. If I was designing from scratch, it would not be a $25 print job. Okay, it would be more like my $150, $200 jobs. Like, people think, oh, designing a flyer is just $50. No, designing a flyer is one of the toughest things you can do, because you got to put text and images together. Some people do $50, $75 flyer designs, not me. I put too much thought into it, and it bogs my mind down too bad for $50 or $75. Not worth it to me. But that's just me. Some people say they don't like doing shirt graphics because it takes them a lot to do shirt graphics, and it's opposite for me. Yeah, and then when you forget to tell them about your design fee, then you feel like when you come back and talk about it, you feel like, dang, they might think I'm trying to, pull one over them because I never told them about design fee before. So you got to build it into the price of the product. That way you won't forget about it. Okay. All right, y'all. So we're about 23 minutes over for tonight. I want y'all to get some rest. We have a long week ahead of us, which is going to be a good week, but a long week. So we're going to build on these principles. We're going to make sure that we get some excitement going this week. But y'all, the execution is going to happen in the weeks following. So don't just get all geared up for this AI Create-A-Thon week. Get excited and then drop off on me next week. I need us to keep this going strong. This is going to be one of your greatest projects that you can possibly do: graduation, memorial, sports and school, and then business to business. Those are 4 collections and categories that every single year I make sure that we touch on. Okay, those are your money makers. Oh, didn't it? Your 8x8 backdrop and poster looks good. Looks really good, my love. Y'all keep doing your thing. Y'all are doing amazing. Felicia, I didn't. I have actually been moving and getting things together that y'all, my whole life is moving right now. Oh, speaking of which, I do have some equipment and I'll be updating for sale as well. I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff before I have to move from Jacksonville. I'm moving permanently to make sure that I can be here to take care of Granny. So y'all know what those moves are like, especially when you have about 3,000 square feet of business stuff piled up and have to move it all over again. So I'm just going to get rid of some of the stuff, not move it again. So I have some printers. I probably have some substrates I'll be getting rid of. So just make sure you pay attention to the Instagram I'm posting it on and Facebook so that you all will see all the stuff that I have getting rid of. Okay. And I've been sending out a couple of emails too. So I'll see if I can make sure that I email y'all if there's anything that I have that y'all need. I have a 24-inch sublimation printer I'm going to be putting up. My 42-inch needed a new print head. So I don't know if I'm going to put it up, as parts or if anybody wants to replace the print head, but that's a 44-inch, my apologies, sublimation printer. I have a bunch of 13-inch sublimation printers galore. Y'all, I'll put it up. I don't want to bore y'all with it tonight. Jennifer, that purple swirly thing behind the J is bothering you. Look, that's bothering you. Look, you already know. I got you. That's bothering you. Don't worry about it, Jennifer. Yeah, it's like a duplication of this little swoosh, right? Don't worry about it, girl. Now let's see if it'll do the remove instead of the generative fill. Let's see what it'll do. Jennifer says, thank you. Jennifer, we're going to rebuild this whole thing. Trust me. And we're going to have a good time. It's going to be a little bit of a long time because I'm going to show you how to recreate these compositions, right? All right, so there it goes. It's gone. Okay, boom. Then we're going to merge it down. All right. Yes, I'm gonna put the chat GPT flow on a separate document and basically as we build it, I'll be adding to it each day of this week. And Hannah, if you want to just make a separate document and just put the link inside of this working document, that's fine too. And then you can just let me know on Discord when it's done and I'll copy that. Oh, link sent. Okay. Look, it took me longer to say before you told me you already had it done. If they already have the artwork, that depends because sometimes them already having the artwork is not really having the artwork. And this is why these printers are putting these posters outside of their businesses saying no AI artwork accepted. It's because people claim they have artwork done. And it's actually harder. That's why I showed you all, and I've been showing you all how to break down AI images so that you can get your elements like we did last week. We're going to do it again in Memorial. But remember I took that flyer design and I broke down the elements from the design, right? Remember that? Because if they come to me and say, yeah, I got a design done, just blow that up and put it on the backdrop. No, ma'am, no, sir. I need to create the background, upscale that, create that car, upscale that, probably, add this smoke and stuff to it. Because if I print this as a backdrop, this little flyer design that ChatGPT created is not going to translate well into a backdrop that you want everybody to take photos in front of. So will I charge a design fee? Absolutely. Why? It takes me longer to rebuild something you did than for me to understand how to break down something that I know how to break down because I created it. Yeah, baby. This is what we did last week. Oh yeah, we did this. Oh, you missed last week. We did this 50s look for Deshanta, and then we also broke down this this flyer that we did for baby's first birthday, and we captured elements as we broke the design down. So we'll do the same thing this week when we do our memorial program, in t-shirt design, like we'll break down the elements and, oh, now this is how I get the elements to build the t-shirt design or the backdrop or the tumbler design or whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. Marianna, Florida. Yeah, back to my old small time. Remember I told you I had a little brick and mortar and Emma and Levi used to be up there at my store and on my hip. They had their own little room. They had their own little computer, vacuum. Yep. Just this time, I'm not gonna do a traditional brick and mortar. I'm just gonna do fulfillment. Yep. Last week, customer happiness. What was last week's class? I believe it was 340. Oh no, the AI class. I can't remember the number, but oh, was that? Oh, 120. Okay. I was saying, if it wasn't last week, it was a week before, but I think that was last week we did this. Let me see. I believe so. Y'all, my timelines and everything, I'm rolling. Whatever day it is, whatever week it is, whatever hour it is, I'm just rolling, y'all. Coach MB and Coach Levi, you know what? I'm gonna put them to work this summer. Y'all will be seeing them, but they're doing very well. Honor roll, all A's and 1B or all A's and 2B's. I'm so proud of them. You know, this was their first year in physical school in over 5 years. They've been homeschooled before that. So yeah, we made it. We survived Duval County public school system. I probably need a t-shirt for that. So yeah, it's a lot going on, y'all. I will forever be grateful to you all for everything that we get a chance to do together and how I get to share my professional and life experiences with you all, and in hopes that it does encourage you, help you, and prepare you in ways that maybe this was the whole positioning and this was the whole experience and timing that that was required from me in order to pass this along and gift it to you. So I don't mind. If I can do it, then I will do it. Okay. So I appreciate you all. And this is why I put the love into what we do, because it makes a difference and it makes money. Right. It's something you love to do, and it's something that you can create your own economy for. And I'm not just saying that just because it's what y'all want to hear. I'm saying that because this is how I have survived every storm in my life. That was a financial storm. And maybe even some storms that were not financial storms, is being able to create. So when I say this Create-A-Thon, like this is our opportunity to explore, to have fun, to create something meaningful, and to sharpen our skill sets together, no matter what's going on. That's why I love when y'all can tell me when you have things going on and you still show up here. That means a lot to me, because even though you're dealing with your personal storms, you're still here because this is a safe space for you, right? And I do not take that for granted, and I appreciate it. And I know that you all have so much understanding and grace for me that this makes it a safe space for me as well. And I truly do love y'all. I truly do. I love what I do, and I love y'all too. Okay. So y'all go ahead and get you some rest tonight, because I ain't trying to get all emotional, cry on this thing tonight. Y'all better go and get some sleep so we can get some work done this week. So I can start this move next week. Lord have mercy. Y'all gonna see me looking crazy and all. That's all right. And I'm gonna start showing up more live for y'all too. I miss y'all. It's been a lot. It's been a whole lot. But I'm gonna start showing up more and showing up better, because I want y'all to show up more and I want y'all to show up better too. Don't be crying, Jennifer. Don't even start tearing up with me, okay? We'll save that for when we finish some of these beautiful designs, okay? All right, my loves. I appreciate you and I love you dearly. And until next time, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're not just meeting on Thursday. We're going to meet every day until we're going to be on Thursday as well, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 o'clock, so that we can kick off this Create-A-Thon, okay? Love you. Bye.